Awesome.
Oh, we got chats too. We got chats.
Okay.
Hey, Patricia. How's everyone doing?
Afternoon, Tammy.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
I'm doing great. I've been partying for 10 days, but my life is a party now living here.
I was gonna say, I'm sure you're enjoying being where you're at.
I sure am. It was a good choice. It was a mindset. That's the way we're going to play it, right? Right, Jen?
Mhm.
Use me as an example all day.
Trust
Well,
me,
Always
maybe
use
in
me
I
as an
5 years
will.
example.
I'll join you.
And 5? Oh, that's a long time from now. Is
Yeah, but
everyone
my
in?
husband's younger than me, and he's still.
Okay, I think that we are all, I'm going to ask everyone to mute. I think everyone is muted anyway, except for Jen and I. I don't know if you guys were on our last, oh, no, Jen, we were on Task Talks on the podcast. Now we're doing Task Talks webinar. That was recorded. This is live. So I have you, Miss Jen. Jen is alive.
Duh. That could be dangerous. So I need to
No, it's only
introduce myself or
dangerous when
what?
you and I are live together, like we
Okay,
are now. And
got it.
that's when we're, so just so you guys know, I know Jen for many, many years. I'm not going to say our ages. We travel together, we have fun together, we laugh together, we do business together, we think together, we grow together, we do a lot of things together, and she is amazing. And I'm very excited to announce that Jen will be one of our speakers on our cruise coming up on TAS Live. If you haven't signed up, I'm going to do a little commercial right now. It's not too late. You have until October 1st. I may be getting a 10-day grace period. I don't know, but let's not wait the last minute. There's a lot of valuable information, a lot of growth, and a lot of learning, but most of all, how to be profitable. But what I love is what Jen is going to do is help us learn how to get qualified leads, luxury leads, how to build, but most of all, how to better ourselves. And before all of you got on, we were talking and chatting about mindset and growth. And it's all here because all this is what controls everything that you have. And I truly believe that. And I know that all of you believe that as well. It's just getting you to apply yourselves. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to let Jen take over and teach us all how to have a clearer mindset, like she's done for me.
Which I still work with every single day in my own mind. So that gives you hope, hopefully. So welcome everybody.
How's that working for you, Jen?
I don't know. Some days it's good, some days, still working on it. So welcome everybody. Glad to meet all of you. Hope to eventually meet all of you in person if you all come to the cruise. And if not, then we meet another time. So I'm Jennifer Samuel Chance. Very quick version of my story is that originally from the UK, been in the United States since 1980. My background is basically business. I spent many years climbing the corporate ladder, working for a big Fortune 500 company. And then after I hit my 30s, I was like, I don't like this no more. I don't want to do this no more. And I quit, went with another job, and eventually came upon the world of speaking and professional storytelling. Did that for a while, traveled the world, had a good time. Then somebody said, I got a speech to give. Can you teach me how to add my stories to the speech? And I started that in 2004, and I've been doing it in some form or another ever since. Since embarking upon that world, I've had the amazing fortune of meeting the fabulous Tammys of the world, visionaries of the world, people with all different backgrounds. So I'm here to confess that I'm not an actual travel advisor. I just like to travel a whole bunch, and I'll give you my advice anytime you want. But what I
That's why
will
you're
do,
here, Jen. That's why you're here. We don't want to hear from another
I
travel
know.
advisor.
So what I will do is tell you that I work with people. And actually, the vast majority of the people I work with are actually very successful professionals, executives, business owners that make, I would say, Tammy money and more. And what I find is that a lot of them, if they have any kind of issues with speaking, with showing up, how they engage their staff, how they engage their family, Most of it comes from what's here, what's in between here, what's going on here. That 100% controls what comes out of your mouth and how you interact with others. So over the years, I've been talking with Tammy with Task. In fact, we started the conversation before Task actually was created, if you remember Tammy. And
Right.
it kind of grew and grew and grew with her visionary, and it is what it is today. And some of the constant themes I would hear is that some of you may have issues with, okay, asking for the sale, asking the right questions so that you pre-qualify very, very good potential clients, even opening up and sharing information. What is that about? Well, people, that's conversation and that's storytelling. Let me say it one more time, conversation and storytelling. So when you get me into the world of storytelling, I could talk for weeks. We only got probably an hour. So I'm going to like narrow it down a little bit and figure out what are some key points and issues I'd like to share with you to make sure that no matter where you are in your career, you could be bright and spanking new, just started this thing and you're confused, or you've been around for a while and you're very successful. But my experience has been with working with all different types of professionals anywhere along that whole spectrum, is that we can all benefit, and myself included. I have my own coach, is to make sure that you are working with what's going on with the mental so that you have a vision, so your vision can come out and show itself in the world however it should, so that you can make this world a better place, make your life better, make your clients' lives better, and everything that goes around that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. A lot of it probably isn't going to be new. I'm going to tell you right off the bat. Because isn't it sometimes the fact that we need to hear things multiple times from multiple people, and then we'll hear it that last time and be like, okay, yeah. And then I can hear Tammy in the background saying, see, I've been telling them that forever, and they won't listen to me. Well, don't take it personally, Miss Tammy. It's just that sometimes we just need to hear the different layers and different layers. And then one time you'll hear it today from me or somebody else. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, maybe, yeah, I need to take and pay attention to that. So what I will do in just a second is share my screen. I do have a couple of slides and try and figure out where you are along the spectrum. Now, I'm not a mind reader. I'm not a psychologist. My goal is not to fix your life. That's your job. But what I would like you to do is today just be open and ready to kind of go down that path of what's going on with me and my business. Is this truly a business? Or is it more of a hobby? Are you doing the things you need to do in order to be successful? When I look at what Tammy offers through Task and everything else she offers, the amount of information that you guys get is unbelievable. And if you're not part of Task, the amount of information that you will get, unbelievable. So it's not that you're short of information. No, there's something going on with your habits or your motivation or whatever. I'm not here to point a finger, because when I point a finger, the first finger really should be pointing at me. As I speak to you, I speak to myself. But I will like to take you down the path that I take myself through to make sure that as things go on track, off track, around the bend, everything, that I have a way of getting back on track so that I go towards my goal and my vision. Okay? So let me give you Miss Jen's theory on success. So just 1 second, let me bring it up. Oh, come on. Are we gonna do it? There we go. All right, let me share, thank you. So hopefully you guys can see this, okay? So Ms. Jen's thought of secrets to success is rinse and repeat. Yeah, that sounds really deep and technical, huh? Rinse and repeat, meaning what I'd like you to do is remember these key points when it comes to being successful. It's about what you believe, what you say to yourself, who you're surrounded by, what's the information that's input. And I'm not talking just for your career. I'm talking family, friends, from your childhood to where you are right now. What is circulating in this brain that causes you to do what you do and how you do it? So it's about what you believe. It's also about how you show up. Because if this ain't right, then how you show up, what you say, how you interact with others is going to be 100% affected. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. How you show out, which means if you figured out what's going on with your brain, figured out what to say, how to say it, how's it showing up in your business? We'll say that for business purposes today. Are you making those connections that you need to be making? Are you doing the work that Tammy insists you need to do? And she's not the only expert. You have a wonderful plethora of experts from all different areas that are designed to help you with your business. How are you doing with that? How are you showing up? How are you showing up? And then last but not least, what do you do? How do you get up when you get knocked down? And if you know Tammy, she's the master of reinvention, redoing stuff. But I hasten to say that a lot of you that are listening today are also masters too. You may not have thought of it that way. I'd like you to start thinking of it that way, because we're going to talk a little bit later about the stories, the experiences that you could use to share with clients and potential people that you can interact with, so that you end up, showing out, and people will then, it will add to your credibility. It will just build your reputation, because people know no matter what you go through, you hang in there, okay? So again, it's about what you believe, how you show up, how you show out, and what do you do when you get knocked down. Then it says here, the main secret is rinse and repeat, which means whatever's going on and you get knocked down, get back up, check the mindset, check how you're showing up, check how you're showing out, get ready for the next knockdown. You may not have it, but at least you be ready. And you just keep doing that all throughout your lifetime. We wish it was easy and, you wouldn't have to go through all of these wonderful life lessons, but sometimes you do. But understand that a lot of these life lessons, some of them are very, very serious and will take some people out. Some of these life lessons are designed to help you build those muscles, resilience, so that you are ready for the success that you're asking for. I think many of us go through things saying, okay, if I could just get a text message that says, press this button and your success will be around the corner waiting on you, that'll be great. But sometimes there are lessons you need to learn with all the negativity that could come towards you, the things that don't work for you. And if you don't build those muscles in knowing how to handle them, when that success comes, you'll have it, but how long will you keep it? So let's talk about the fact that this is not your fault. Maybe it isn't. Come on. Whoop. Sorry, having technical difficulties here. Let's try this again. There we go. Not your fault. Now, doesn't mean you don't have any responsibility behind all of this. Yes, you do. But I'm saying we are bombarded and surrounded by sometimes other people's opinions. Sometimes there's people that love us, care for us, and swear they know us better than ourselves, but they don't really know the true you. So they're likely to give their opinion, give you advice that's not necessarily in your best interest, because it comes from their perspective, not yours. Sometimes you're listening to the media, social media, listening to the news. The world is doing whatever it's doing right now. So are you feeding into that? And when you can constantly bombarded with negativity, you can't do it, you're not good enough, is there any wonder that you probably have sometimes trouble getting out of bed in the morning? Do you want to? Or are you just going to stay right here and be comfortable because it's safe and a lot easier? So it's not your fault. But here's the deal. It's definitely not your fault. But what are you going to do about it? How are you going to rinse and repeat? You need to do that. So I took a look at some of the issues that I've heard about in the travel agency world, travel advisor world. And when it comes to some I've met, and I've met quite a few, and let me share a brief story I went with you. We should share a big story with you. 2 months ago or so, Tammy, we all went to Thailand and Bali, which was a fabulous trip. So I came back and happened to go to a vendor festival here in Tampa, where I live. So I was sharing with a friend of mine how I'd just come back from Bali, la, 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 la. So this young lady came by and she eavesdropped and she says, oh, Thailand. Oh, that's great. I'm a travel agent. I didn't make any kind of reference to the fact that I needed one or told her anything like that. But she immediately launched into, she's a travel agent. How much did it charge? How much did I pay? And I deliberately, and I'll say this, doubled the price that I paid to tell, just to see what she would come up with. And she automatically launched into, oh, I could have got that for you a lot cheaper. And and it kind of really turned me off because I didn't ask for any of that. All I wanted was, oh, Thailand, great place. Where did you go? Did you have a good time? Oh, that's a great resort. I mean, somebody that would have been my ally and my friend versus somebody trying to cut the competition down. And I say that because she's not the only person I've met in the travel world, I'm just gonna be honest, that does that. You know, automatically try and get in there for price or try and try and try. Stop trying. When I want a travel advisor, I have one of the best, what I want is to know that she's going to do the heavy lifting. She is going to come rescue me if I get stuck somewhere. Hopefully, I won't have to do that. That's the job. That's why I'm hiring her expertise, her knowledge. I know her credibility is there. And that's why I want to feel safe, literally in her arms. I want to be able to trust her. And I took a look at a survey that was done that I found online that talked about why some reasons why you won't trust a travel advisor, and also too some of the mistakes they make. So I'm just put this list up here real quickly. We're not going to go into big detail, but a lot of it is around communication and how you show up. Failing to build relationships, yes, because I know it is a highly competitive space. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I think there's still enough people in the world that hopefully want to travel that we don't have to be fighting each other. It's basically how can you work together so that everybody benefits. Poor storytelling skills. We're going to go into that quite a bit in just a second. Avoiding sales conversations. And that's usually around the fact that we don't like people to possibly reject us. So we won't ask for the sale, won't ask for the commitment because we're afraid they're going to say no. Yeah, we'll talk about that too, because if they say no, were you any worse off than you were before you had the conversation? Probably not. So ignoring upsell and cross-sell opportunities. Again, you all know your business, so there are opportunities you can add stuff on, do whatever. Are you doing that? Neglecting professional development. That's a big one because that ties into the storytelling skills and learning how to tell stories a little differently. And I'm talking stories as in conversations. Taking a look at especially the manual that Tammy's provided as far as pre-qualifying potential clients, scripting, questions to ask. Are you doing the professional development necessary to get better? I will be here to confess, I'm not the best student in the world. I hate studying. I hate. And when I first started speaking, I spoke around, literally around the world, basically on pure adrenaline and passion. And that was great. But then I started to meet a whole heap of people that were making a lot of money at this thing. And I thought, well, how are they doing that? And what a lot of them did was they learned to ask the right questions. They learned proper storytelling. They learned how to listen. They learned to do a whole bunch of stuff. And my ego said, I don't need to do that. I've got a fabulous voice. People are just going to love me when they hear me and they'll do whatever I ask. Yeah, right. That came up to bite me. And then I had to learn to develop myself, then end up in the world of professional development, which is what I do now. So I say that to some of you. I know it's not easy. Some of you may have responsibilities. Time is short. You've got people pulling at you 50 different ways. But unless you know how to do this thing properly, then you may continue to stay in place or go backwards because of the lack of development. And then clear business system. Again, I'm not going to get into that because that's definitely not my expertise. But another reason why some of them struggle, because again, you're treating probably the business more like a hobby than it is a business. Okay. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I want to make sure that you know, if you haven't already figured out, that traveling and the whole world of getting to, this is not working, here we go, is that travel is emotional. And some of you may be hearing storytelling. What do I need to, do I have time to tell stories on a 20-minute call? Do I have to? There's a way of, I call it conversational storytelling, where you're not sitting there telling a long epic tale, but you learn to ask certain questions. You learn to pause. You learn to listen. You learn to lean back. You learn to go forward. So that encourages a dialogue which then produces a story. And actually, what is more important is the story from the client, potential client, than yours. Now, it is also very important that you have yours, so you know what that is. And then if you don't have yours, you have other colleagues, Tammy, whoever, so that you have another reason to provide credibility and get respect because of the area and the information that you're sharing. So what does it do? It's not logistics. Travel is basically escapes, dreams, and moments that matter. So what you want to do is paint the picture. And what storytelling does is helps your client actually feel the trip before it's even booked. So there are questions I know that are part of the manual that you've been given. That's great. I've come up with some more to help people get into that mindset. In just a second, I'm going to have you guys go through a little exercise where I help you get into the mindset right now so that you really help paint the picture for those people that you like to do business with.
Then just for 1 minute, not everyone here has that information.
Okay.
Not everyone here has it because some people here are newer
Got
or
it.
they may have heard me before. So if you're interested, I'm going to put in the chat. You have to send me, I'll put my email and email me your information. I will send you the video for qualifying the client and the manual because they don't have it. So you keep saying that, and that's why I had to interrupt. I'm sorry. So because they don't have it.
That's okay. And that's also the prompt for you to get it, Drew. I'm just saying.
Like,
Yes. And again, I make assumptions, but yeah, my thing is I'm to the point where there's certain, if there's a way of getting the information that you need that's going to make you more successful, then just get it. So thank you, Tammy, for sharing that. And actually, I would have pointed everybody to do that, saying, if you don't have it, then you need to talk to Tammy, but she did it. So that's great. All right, so back to this. So people don't buy itineraries, they buy outcomes, which means they want connection, adventure, romance, and not just a hotel and a flight. And stories turn features into feelings. So again, it's about painting the picture. Even though you may have somebody that just calls and says, okay, I want to go to Paris, just give me the, what kind of flights and what kind of hotel, and that's all they want, that's fine. But in most cases, especially if it's a long trip they've been waiting on for years, or it's to celebrate a certain occasion, then the more you help them get into the feeling of what that trip's going to be like and the outcome, and more importantly, how they're going to feel after they've come back from the trip, you've got them. So make sure you understand that it's not about the transaction, so it's part of it, but it is about the whole experience and what are they going to feel after they come back. Stories build trust faster than statistics or deals. So any kind of quick story that you can put together, regardless of what information you share, if you're able to put together really quick stories, it's going to build credibility and trust faster than any promotion. Because even though we want data, don't get me wrong, and some of us will Google and look things up, etc., that's great. But if I hear it from somebody that seems like they know what they're talking about and they have the reputation, then I'm far more likely to trust and lean into them than I will something I just read online. That's not totally trustworthy. So I feel sorry, but I feel that I want to definitely encounter somebody that knows what they're talking about. And then more importantly, real wins make you relatable and reliable. So for those of you that I'm gonna put Tammy on the spot again because she's like a plethora of experiences she's been through. Some years ago, she had it where an elderly couple had issues with a trip they took on a cruise,
yeah,
and they were off the
or
cruise.
they fell, right?
There you go. And the cruise line refused to get them back on board. Was that it? Or get them home?
No, they refused to take him to the hospital. They didn't do anything. They left him in the border of Syria and Turkey.
Yeah. So even though I don't remember all the exact details, here's the bottom line I remember about that story. And that story made national news, did it not?
Global.
There you go.
Yeah, it made global news. Global.
There
I was
you
in the
go.
cover of the Iranian Islamic news as woman saves man. Cruise line left him to die.
Wow. Okay. Anywho, the one-liner I remember from that story, even though it was many years ago, and even though I don't remember the detail, is that Tammy took care of her people. That's it. So anytime I have a trip, and not just taking trips, I'm about to take more trips, All I remember is that Tammy took care of her people. And I hope for those of you, whether you're new in the industry or you've been around for a while, that's the mindset that you have. And I'm sure for most of you, you do. But especially those of you that are relatively young in the industry, you're still trying to learn all of the bits and pieces. So understand that one story that ended up in Tammy taking care of her people has probably gotten her business. I don't know if have you ever traced? I don't know if you can trace Tammy.
No, but
The
it's still,
connections that have come from that, even though it's not money. But I mean, can you think of many connections that people said because of that story? Here's why I'm calling
well,
you.
I was involved with Ruth Eckerd Hall, a performing arts center, and they were from there. So after that story, I pretty much got all of Ruth Eckerd Hall. Like I pretty much got, and we know that's all luxury, and we know that we know what that is.
Mhm.
So yeah, it followed through. I
Exactly.
mean, friends, family, everyone read it. I did get quite a bit of business, and I still do, and I'm still there for my clients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right. So understand this is, I mean, she deserves all the props. So this is not a, you know, Tammy. Yeah, she's on a pedestal. Let me say that. She's on a pedestal. But I'm saying that this, when you do the work, is where your business can end up, whatever, however long that looks like. And the bottom line is connections, stories, relationships matter. And if you tend to be a person that tends to be more on the introverted side, this is a big thing because you have to talk to people and probably be a little bit open. And on the right circumstance, you may need to be vulnerable with sharing some stuff. But I guarantee you that it will pay off in dividends. And I will say you this too. I'm an introvert. People find it hard to believe, well, you're on stages and you're this, that, the other. Yeah, I'm all that. But I'm also, when I'm off stage, don't call me, leave me alone. I need to be by myself to rejuvenate and get back on track so I can do this again. So you don't necessarily, it's not about personality. It's not about any of that. It's about what motivation do you have to make sure that you make the right connections, that you're out there and you're sharing the information that you need to share. Okay. So, quick story. You are surrounded, literally, even if you're new, with people that have stories. If you're brand new and you ain't got no stories whatsoever, you haven't booked your first client, then you have definite access to people that have been through some stuff. And even if you just take a quick conversation with them and have them share it with you, then you can paraphrase it. And, if a new potential client is asking you a question, then you can say, you know what, I haven't experienced that now, but my friend Tammy, she's done this and da, 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 da. And that way they kind of know that you're not just making things off the fly. If they need to talk to Tammy, they can. So make sure that you don't take stories for granted. Let's go to the next one here. Okay. They make you magnetic, not replaceable. Yeah, because I know people are scared of AI. Oh my gosh, computers are just gonna book me out, etc. Yeah, but people usually do business with you because they like you. The AI is great. Don't get me wrong, use it every day. But storytelling sets you apart. Everybody's journey sets them apart. So wherever possible, wherever you need to, share the information you need to share about yourself if you're experienced with trips, but also too, share your client's experience as well. Because when you start being very successful and the fact that you have clients that come back and they're raving about these trips, or even if there's some adverse thing that happened, how did you help them solve the problem? Those are stories that make you memorable and magnetic. Because again, whatever it takes for people to remember you, that's what you need to do. So how do you sell without selling? You paint a picture, basically it. And then what happens is the clients kind of lean in, might close their eyes and imagine themselves where you are prompting them to go. Or your job actually is to get information out of them, have them share so that they can actually help paint the pictures themselves. And then you're basically providing the paintbrush and the paint. But the key is they're doing the painting themselves. So this technique is not just for travel advisors. In general, I work with organizations that sell products. Some of them are tangible, some of them not. And the mindset is the same. If the buyer does not see it in their mind, it's going to be really hard for you to sell it. So go ahead and make sure that you are not hesitating to try and use storytelling and that kind of thing to get your connections together. So we're going to do that. All right. And by the way, it works everywhere. So for those of you that have access to social media, if you're not already using it, I know that Tammy has some resources and some people she works with. Storytelling is, social media is basically storytelling. That's why actually AI comes in that too. I just say be careful about using AI stories though. That's a whole other conversation we could use. I'd rather you come from your own experience or from people that you know's experience so that it's verifiable. But the bottom line is this: whether it's you drinking a cup of coffee in Paris and you're sitting there with a teacup and you post that, or you have that experience so you can share with somebody that wants to go to Paris. So you know what? I remember when I was sitting in the Champs-Élysées, drinking my cup of coffee, having a good time, painting the picture, painting the picture. So it works everywhere. So make sure that you don't lose the opportunity to use your stories. They're great. All right, so what I want to do now is have you guys do a little bit of story visioning. So second, my computer's, there we go. And for those of you that are listening, let's do a little visionary exercise, meaning if you're going to tell stories, that's great. What I always like to encourage is what's happening with you in your life right now, what's going on right now. And if you are in this business, whatever it looks like for you, what would you like it to look like 5 years from now? Imagine that everything you could possibly imagine has happened and you've been completely successful, wildly successful. What I want you to do is close your eyes right now and then go ahead and imagine it's 5 years from now and you're meeting either your best friend or me, doesn't really matter. And I want you just to pick 3 things that have happened that have made you extremely happy that you took this journey as a travel advisor. And not allowed to talk about your family or your friends or any of that stuff. No, this is about you. What have you done? Where have you gone? What have you bought? What feeling do you have that's going on that now you can say 5 years later, you're glad you took the journey? And let's take about 30 seconds to do that. And then what I'd like actually for those of you that are bold is to go ahead and share it with the group. Because I'm very much about, if you don't think about it and put it out there, it's far less likely to happen. So let's do about 30 seconds and imagine it's 5 years from now, wildly successful, and you are feeling 100% emotionally completely successful, and you're just sharing that information. I'll do the timing. Okay, time up. You could do it much more after we've hung up. In the interest of time, and so we're here, not all here all day, for those of you that are bold and just adventurous, I'd like you to raise your hand, come off mute, and go ahead and share with us. Hopefully on screen, we can see your face. If not, I understand, but we'd like to see your wonderful face. And share with us what's happened in the 5 years since you've been this unbelievably successful travel advisor. And I got quiet
I
now.
see some of you that I know that can do this.
Thank you.
Patricia already said, give me 5 years.
All right.
Patricia.
We're going to put Patricia on the spot. No comment.
All of you are shy.
Anybody, because I know you all ain't shy people. Hello.
I apologize. I actually had to step away for a second because the dog was crying to go out, and was walking back as I heard my name called. Do you want to repeat the question?
Sure. So remember before we got started today, you were talking about give me 5 years and I will basically do what I want to with this wonderful career. So I pose the question as it's 5 years from now and you've accomplished everything you want to accomplish. Tell me 3 things that have made you feel absolutely fantastic and delightful. And I want you to actually be in that emotion. And again, take your family and friends off the table. We assume that they're going to do well and you're going to treat them well. That's not the question. What's happened to make you feel, yes, this was the right decision? It's 5 years from now and I'm just reaping the benefits.
Well, top of mind is simply quality of life, that I've implemented things so that I can actually enjoy my life as well as do my business. So,
Like
not
what?
working a gazillion hours.
Like what?
Enjoy my life, travel.
Okay.
Um,
Where have you been? 5 years has gone by. Where have you been?
I've actually gone down the Nile, which is
Ooh,
one of my dreams.
okay.
I've gone to uh, Southeast Asia and did a college graduation trip with my daughter to, believe it or not, she's picked the UK, so that's where we're going.
Fabulous child.
So I guess those are like my some of my absolute top things right now.
Fabulous. What else has happened? Good. As a result of you being able to travel, what else has happened?
Uh, well, the other thing, of course, would be that with travel and also with having my business where I want it to be, I've been able to improve my health.
Good.
Meaning simply that, you've got the time now and you're able to spend it on eating properly, exercising, all those things that we want to do.
Great. Great. Okay. One more
And
thing.
if I'm eating in Europe, I'm eating much better. Real food.
Trust me, I'm here.
Don't get me started on that one. I came back from the UK a week ago. Mm.
Yeah.
I
And
ate
I guess the
copious
last thing,
amounts.
of course, that all of us want is financial freedom, of course, which is that we're not struggling day to day in our business, but that we've made it to the point where, um, we have that financial freedom because our business is doing what it needs to do, that we can move forward without just stressing over money. So,
Great. So I have a question. What did you splurge on?
splurge.
Yep. What did you buy just for you? Money was no object because you got lots of it. What did you buy?
Uh, Well, I was going to say I have 2 kids, but if it's just for
No,
me,
take the kids off.
if,
They're
if,
fine.
if
They're
it's
fine.
just for me, honestly, it would either be jewelry, because I do have a little bit of a soft heart for nice things.
Okay.
And secondly, it would be where have my kids settled down, and I would have to buy second homes where they're at, whether it's just a
Oh,
townhome or something like that.
oh, that'll work. Okay.
And of course, if we're splurging on these trips, then I might do like a yacht trip on somewhere, because that would be
Okay.
pretty cool.
All right. So you're just gonna be gone.
Yes, yes, that
In
is the
your
goal.
jewelry,
Yes, I'll be
eating
going around the
well.
world buying jewelry.
I
Yeah.
don't know why, Patricia, but that sounds like my life now.
Well, you've already made it. I haven't yet.
So I'm just this is Rachel, Patricia's business partner and sister. I'm just going to add to this. My dream at being and successful is those small, the really nice, sweet on Explorer journeys, working from there as I travel to these amazing ports, living luxury.
I'll
Okay.
visit you, Rachel.
So where would your first stop be, Rachel?
Oh, Tammy, I have not done Greece, believe it or not. Never been.
Oh,
Or just that whole coast. The Amalfi Coast I haven't done.
oh,
I know, I'm an agent.
yes.
We'll get you here. We have a fam to Greece for next year.
Mm.
That's amazing. And then you get to see where I live too. So you get to come
Yeah,
here
I,
too.
I know
Work
I
on
don't
that.
post, but I've seen some of the pictures. They look amazing.
Fabulous. So thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Rachel. I want one more person. Again, 5 years from now, wildly successful. Money's no object. You happy as all get out. Tell me what that sounds and feels like.
I'm trying to see who's here. I'll pick on you guys.
Oh gosh, you're going to be voluntold.
volunteered Patricia. She did a great job.
She did. We got Deborah.
Tabitha, why are you so quiet? See,
I'm
they're all
here.
shy.
No, I'm
Oh,
here.
there you are.
I'm here. 5 years from now, you know that I'm part of PMTP with Christina, Point Me to
Yep.
Paradise. So we have big goals and big dreams to travel and do podcasts of the different areas and to show everybody the world and to bring everybody along with us.
So where have you been? Again, it's already happened.
In
Yes.
5 years,
Speak as if.
where have we been? I guess the better question would be like, hopefully, would be like, where have we not been?
Okay.
Hopefully that list is better.
Excuse me.
Hopefully that would be the question that needs to be asked versus like, where have you been? Where have you not been? Is the goal.
So, all right. So if you've been everywhere, what was your favorite place?
Oh, okay. I would say Germany because my parents have roots there and grew up there as kids, and that's a connection.
Okay, good. Great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. So I
know you're doing this, but I want to step back for a minute. And I want to ask you something. You're saying to them where everybody is 5 years from now. And you know what's funny is from continuously setting goals, like you're asking us, it's basically a goal set that you're saying, where do you see yourself? But actually do it. So what is the one thing, because I do things, I have a book, I'm just going to show everyone real quick. And this helps a lot, Jen. And I'm only saying this because we're on this topic. So I have this book, it's called And She Never Gave Up. And this is my manifestation book. And I write in here pretty much every day, every other day, if I'm gone or do whatever, and write things that where I see I am here. I see myself. It's not the present time. This book is not the present time. This book is the future time of where Tammy is going to be. And I can go back 2 years ago. And I mean, this is like pages and pages and pages. This handwritten. These are things you didn't even know, Jen. I can go back 2 years ago and the manifestation has come through. 2 years ago, I wrote in here and said, thank you for my amazing views in the mountains and the sea. I didn't even put where I was. And here I am living it 2 years later, when 2 years ago, it wasn't even a thought in my head. So I just wanted to share that with you, that the power of your mind that we're talking about and making yourself do it, you know, that's a good task as well, is to actually write down, Patricia and Tabitha and all of you, of seeing yourself where you are and actually making yourself right of where you're seeing. Because I think when you're writing it down, it becomes reality. And that's another thing that I do, very similar to what you're doing, but instead of saying it, I write it, and I have this book, which is all the future.
You're leading up to what I was about to say, which is to write it down. Tammy. See, that's why she's the visionary. I always like to do it in small steps because I can't take for granted that the journey I've been on or you've been on, that everybody is automatically going to get on board. It took me a while. I've been working on manifestation and visionary stuff since the 90s. So I've learned from a lot of really great people, some famous, some not. And the overall gist of what all of them have said is basically you got to think it first. Because if you don't have it up here, it's gonna, I'm not gonna say it's never gonna happen, but it makes it that much difficult, because it's like you have a destination. If your destination is to get from A to B and you can't see B, then you're gonna get there eventually, but you don't know where B is. So, okay, all right. And you have sometimes hit it by mistake or whatever. So the key is very much take your time to sit. And one of the exercises I was first given when I went on this whole journey of manifestation and making my life better was to do this just before you start snoring asleep at night, which means you lie down, close your eyes, depending on what your, I would say, ritual is, whether it's listening, reading a book, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, whether it's just falling asleep because you're so tired, whatever it is to take about 2 minutes. And whatever this vision is, some of you that have just shared, or some of you may need to think about it a little bit more, but don't overthink it and make it too critical, because then sometimes you just destroy the vision and then it ends up not happening. But think about it, and it's called activating the reticular activation system in your brain. Our brain thinks in pictures. Let me say that one more time. Our brain thinks in pictures. So words are great. And even if you tend to be more information analytically minded, we need to have a picture. You need to see yourself on the mountains, see yourself skiing, see yourself in South Asia, see whatever it is. Your brain needs to have a flash of that somehow. And then you work towards it. Then you write down, you set goals, you interact, you do whatever it takes. But if you don't have the initial picture up here, chances are it's going to be that much harder. So regardless of what you do, whether it's a vision board, whether it's a conversation with someone, whether it's a trusted friend, a pastor, whoever it is in your life, somebody that's safe and that you could share this information with, then go ahead and think it, really embrace it every night, just before you go to sleep. Just have that picture, then go to sleep. Then you do the other steps afterwards, which I'm going into now, but writing it down very specific ways. There's lots of different ways of doing it so that you really solidify the picture in your brain. And then you write it down. Then you set goals. Then you break it up into pieces. And then sometimes you need to let go and let things happen. And I didn't think I was going to speak about this as I'd bring it. In my other part of my office, I have a vision box, I call it, I put together at a workshop, January of 2024. And in there, I said the major things, retire early, make lots of money. And then I also said, travel the world, which I had done for quite some time. And then I stopped because I was road weary. Life happened, you know how that go. Last year, I decided, you know what? I'd like to travel some more. Okay, fine. All right. A couple months later, Miss Tammy comes up. Oh, I got some trips next year. The real me, the old me, without all of this stuff would have said, oh, I don't know if I could afford it. I don't know. What I've learned to do is if it's here and I put it out there, travel the world, I just said, okay, yeah. And then the universe will help you find a way of being able to afford it. I basically, and I'll share this with Tammy because she doesn't necessarily know this, I had probably about 4 trips that were really scheduled for 2025. Thailand and Bali, Sardinia, 2 others. That was it. But because I put it in my board and I look at it every single day as I watch TV, today I've taken 7 trips and I'm not done. And what's happened is this activation system is, oh, she want to take a trip. Oh, let's give her this information. And then people will come to me, or I'd hear about things. And a trip that I just came back from, I told you, the UK, that wasn't planned. It really wasn't planned. One of the best trips I've ever taken, though, because I ended up connecting with family and friends that I didn't connect to. So I don't mean to make this all about me, but I'm also the poster child of how to do things the hard way and the, let's just make this difficult way. That's me. But I've learned over the years to really help this do what it should do, which is to be the visionary, help me with whatever is inside of me that I want to put out there. And then you step back and then let it happen. So I recommend do the little exercise before you start snoring at night. So just snoring, sleeping. I'm assuming everybody snores, not everybody. Sleeping at night. Go ahead and just close your eyes and have that vision of where it is you want to go, what you want to buy. And I will say this, not necessarily that you don't want to include and do well wishes for your family. I'm making that assumption that that's a done deal. Whatever abundance you have in your life is going to be for the benefit of your family. What we tend to do, though, is put ourselves aside, or we put ourselves last. That's a whole other seminar. And everybody else benefits from it. And we end up being exhausted and drained because we don't put ourselves last and we don't honor ourselves. That's why I asked Patricia I think Rachel said it too. What are you going to buy for you? That's not going to be totally selfish. Don't care what people think. It's your money. You get to spend it on you, because when you get it, whatever that is, it's going to make you just light up. And that is what you want to put out in the world. And that, I said earlier, makes you magnetic, because then you'll have more stories to share with your friends, families, and clientele. Now, does this sound easy and Pollyanna-ish? Yeah, probably. Tammy's living proof. I'm sorry, but she is. I'm to some extent living proof. And I hasten to say many of you on this call today are living proof. You just haven't sat down and thought about the stories yet. That's my job. That's why I'm really, really helping you to don't discount your present experiences, but also to have the vision so you can now learn to write new stories. If your vision is to spend time in Southeast Asia, let's do the work, set the brain up so that, I don't think it would be 5 years from now, young lady, you're less than that, then you can come back and tell people how you did it, how it was. And again, that's the kind of energy I believe we need to spread in the world, so that your children, younger people, people around you, not just younger people, can be inspired by that. And again, living proof in this room, okay? So don't be afraid to sit and figure out, what do you really want? What do you want? I'll say it one more time. You, not your significant other, not your children, not your bosses, not partners. No, what do you want individually? And then take it from there. And sometimes it always works out, usually in ways that you have no idea it's going to work out that way. And in most cases, it works out better, as in my 7 trips versus the original 4. So don't be afraid.
Living in grief that I never thought that I would ever be here.
There you go. And that's, I think, the best delight. It's like, what? Who would have thunk it? That's a horrible phrase, but I love to say it because it just so describes exactly what we're experiencing. Okay, so let me go ahead and take a little bit more information. There we go. Share some more here. Okay, so let's talk about.
Somebody wrote something.
Nope. Oh. Okay, Mike, come on. Let's go a little further up. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. Technical difficulties here. Let me bring up another thing. So,
anyone have any questions up to this point?
Thank you. I was about to say
about anything up to where you were just talking about? Anyone? Because I'm responding to things on the chat. So
we'll go ahead and share that, and I will find my PowerPoint that's gone astray here. Here we go. So you want to share some of the comments?
Good. Yeah, Ellie said something, and I know Ellie really well. I can live comfortably without worry of not being able to pay my bills, or also travel, dress better, eat better, take better care of myself and health-wise. And I really didn't have that problem. I think 30 years I've been eating right, because I was very, very ill. So I think that kind of wakes you up. You know what I mean? You got to take one of those at a time. There's a lot in there, Ellie. So you can start doing that from now, and if you need to talk to me, you know that I'm always here for all my task agents and for everybody. But, leave comfortably without worrying about able to pay my bills. And sometimes you just have to put things aside and not worry about them. If you can't handle them, then we have to go into a different direction. And like I said, if these are things that you want to talk about, we can, because a lot of times what happens, Jen, and this we're in a totally different tangent where we're going to talk about how to get luxury clients, and I don't know how we're here, but this is one thing about how to get
it's all
luxury
related,
clients.
Though. It's all related.
Right, it's all related because it's fear. How am I going to talk to that person that makes multi-million dollars and I'm so afraid to talk to them? And I changed. Everyone now is pushing you. Have you noticed that, you guys? Everyone is pushing in our industry, Jen. How to sell more luxury, how to sell more luxury. I'm like, dude, I started this shit three years ago, and you guys are already late. We're on the next thing. Luxury is already, we're done. We're moving on to the next thing. What's the next thing that's out there? Do you see what I'm saying? When destinations were really big, done. It's completely done. We're moving on to the next thing. So fear will always hold you back from everything. and you have nothing to fear. You have to just sit down and figure things out of how to get things done and accomplished, one step at a time, one step at a time. It's like eating your favorite cake, and I just gave you a slice the size of this and told you this is all you get. This is it. You're not going to devour it, I guarantee you, in 10 seconds. You are going to savor it. You're going to take your time to eat this one little piece that I gave you, because you're not going to get any more. And that's exactly what you have to do with everything in your life. You know, for me to make a decision, and for a lot of you that don't know, I lived in the States. I moved to Greece. It's going to be 4 months next week. 4 months. I feel like I've been here my entire life. I feel like I belong here. I've never been anywhere before this. And this is where I have to be. And this is where I'm at. And in 4 months, yes, I go out, I party, I eat, I drink, have a great time. I live with the best views. But I calculated my finances and I said, there is no way in the world, even with what I make, even with what I have, with everything that I have going on, that I'm able to afford or be able to live in the United States comfortably. Jen said, go future 5 years. I went future 20 years and did the math. And if I wait for Social Security,
You'll be in the streets.
I've been living with Jen. I don't think she wants
In
me
my
living there.
backyard.
She likes living by herself. But do you know what I'm saying? I actually sat and I put it down on paper and said, okay, there's a point that I'm not going to be working. You know, my daughter's going to take over Elite, and my son may take over Tasker, and my daughter may take over it, or Task Agents may. That's another plan that I have. Okay, so I have that. What am I going to do? Where am I going to be? It's about me. I've already raised my kids. I already had all this done. Where am I going to be? And looking at this piece of paper and putting in the numbers, it wasn't where I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be in 80 years. I'm going to be struggling with what I'm looking at. Do I believe in stocks? No, but this is a whole nother story. It's a whole nother thing. I need to change what I'm doing. It can't be the same thing. Can't be the same thing. What is the change going to be? Okay, I think I'm going to move. I'm going to move out of the country where I can afford everything. And I could make the same amount of money, but live overseas comfortably. This was a choice that I made. And being here, the opportunities, Jennifer, we haven't even talked about it. Wait till Sardinia. Opportunities are even more, they're tremendous. They're even more than what I had in the US. So you don't know, but you got to do it bite at a time. It's your little piece of cake. You're not going to eat it. This is all you get. You're not going to eat it all at once. So just think about that. It's giving you a little bit about how I did things, and don't worry about everything all at once.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Tammy. I know that some of you may be listening to this and thinking, well, Tammy can say that because she's been in the business for a while and she's and you know, you're right. However, there was a day when Tammy was brand new, however many years ago, and she didn't know squat. But she figured it out.
I started with minus $180,000 with 2 children in the hospital and a husband with brain damage. So
yeah, that's a whole lot. You got to read the book. And yeah. Anyway, what I'm saying is, though, regardless of whether it's Tammy or any one of you listening, is we don't always have all the answers. We don't like jump out of bed one morning saying, oh, I'm perfect and I'm going to be a wild success. Very few people have that. What they do have is time, energy to go ahead and do the hard slog, to learn the skills, to get better, to learn the skills, to knock back down, to get back up, all the things I said in my success thing about rinse and repeat. And that's all Tammy's done. She probably does it faster than the average person because she's got unbelievably strong muscles. We all develop muscles that are good for us. The bottom line is, listening here today, what are you doing that's going to enable you to get closer to that vision that if you don't have it today, and that's okay, say you do some more work on it, what's going to enable you to get closer to that vision? And again, it's different for everybody, and there is no right or wrong answer either. Let me say that. What's very important, though, is I talked about, yes, what's in your mind, what you're putting in your mind, positivity versus negativity, and also who you surround yourself with. That is key. I know for sure Tammy's done this. I've done it. Some of you have already done it too. Is that it's so crucial to surround yourself with people that support and love you. They may not understand you. Let's just say that. To this day, I got people, my best friend doesn't know what the heck I do. I've only been doing it for 25 years. You got to speak and coach and stuff, don't you? Really? But what she does do is support me in my endeavors. That's what you need, which means whether it is an environment like Task, and I'm not saying this because Tammy paid me, I'm firmly learned from one of my mentors is if you want to go somewhere in your life, you got to be hanging with and learning from the best and be in an environment where everybody is striving for the same goal, whatever that is for them, but everybody's moving forward versus the people that are just going to be the crabs in the barrel and be jealous and talk about you behind your back and all that stuff. No. So this, even though this is not necessarily strictly about the travel advisory world and tips and that will come from the Tammys of the world and the industry professionals, it's about being a human being and using this opportunity and this passion and love that you have for travel to give you the life that you want. That sounds like a commercial, don't I? Don't I sound it? Anyway, but it's true. So I want you to be very, very cognizant of the fact is that you're listening here today to learn what you need to learn. And again, you may have heard something here that you've heard before. It ain't new. But if you're hearing it again because you didn't take action on it in the past, it's the universe saying, hello, you need to do the vision thing. You need to worry about who you share your information with so that you don't end up getting, dumped upon by people that don't understand and don't support you. That's a whole other conversation right there. Anywho, so Tammy mentioned earlier about, luxury, the luxury market. And there are some of you, especially those of you that are new, you're thinking that may be far off. How can I get to that place? And like I said, hard slog and doing the work. She's done the work for many, many years. What I'd like you to think of is for those of you that do have or are members of Task, that's great. And Tammy did make the wonderful offer for those of you that are not part of Task to send you, I believe it was the pre-qualifier. Did you say that? Yeah. That information.
Qualifying your client and the what do you call it? The booklet.
The booklet. Yeah. So
yeah.
It's not that you don't have information. You all got the information. The key is, what are we going to do?
Put it to use.
Brain to get you on board so you do the work. And I'm not sitting there. It's not my job to motivate you. It's your job. It's not Tammy's job to motivate you either. She is gracious enough to have created this whole universe to give you the information. Another whole universe where there's a fabulous cruise in January where, yeah, hands on, roll those sleeves up, let's go. And I highly advise those of you that are still on the fence thinking, I don't know if I want to go. Okay, well, just consider being in an environment where you are supported by, surrounded by people that are all going in the same direction, which is to make their life better through travel. Have any of you heard of the show Hamilton? A small little Broadway show that has blown the doors off of every expectation of that type of show. And those of you that are not familiar with it, Google it. Long story short, there is a song in the show that talks about being in the room where it happens. And this is your opportunity right now. This whole thing, whether it's this particular webinar, whether it's you doing your work, is the room where it happens. And if you're in the room where it happens, good things usually happen. But if you don't do the work, chances are you'll leave the room and possibly leave the opportunity, which at heart, oh my gosh, I love travel so much. I want to do this. So be in the room where it happens, where you're going to learn, okay, here's how you ask certain questions. Here's how you get this information. Here's how you run your business so that you can get closer to that wonderful vision. And then I can come visit you in those wonderful places like South Asia. Patricia and Rachel come visit you and say, aha, I remember when this was just a dream. So what I did take a look at was the actual pre-qualifier set of questions that all of you will get, and some of you already have. And I took a look at when you ask questions, a lot of the questions are quite direct and they ask very specific things. You know, what kind of trip do you want? The dates, time, place, etc., etc. And those are great. What I wanted to do was also add some additional questions as well, because I also recognize that people have different personalities. And I've said this to Tammy before, so I'm not speaking out of turn. Tammy's quite direct. Yes, she is. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is no question as to what she wants from you. And that's fantastic and great. However, not all of us are that way. Some of us are a little bit more demure, indirect. We feel uncomfortable being so direct. Now, I will say this, in order to make the sale and get the business that you want, you have to be direct. But the key is do it in your way where the end result is the same. So what I did was took a look at the questions that were part of this handout. If I just share. And I added some additional ones too. Now, I'm not going to give you everything because I hate to say it, but you have to come to the cruise to get the rest of it. But what I did do, come on. You're going to, here we go, is I took a look at, she's got different categories and different types of questions that achieve certain things. So remember we talked earlier about painting the picture? Part of it was painting the picture in your mind so that you feel open and comfortable when you share travel experiences, whether it's yours or somebody else's. Also, too, to help them, the potential client, paint the picture in their minds of what their trip could be. So what I did was I actually came up with about 30 questions. I'm going to share about 5 of them with you. And then the rest, you're going to have to come to the cruise and get the others. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to come. But I think these are questions that you can add to your itinerary. And regardless of whether you are direct or indirect, these questions, again, are designed to help the potential client paint the picture. So Tammy talked about it earlier, where if you're asking questions of a potential client, you ask the very important questions. And then also, too, you try and get them a little bit into the mindset of what it will be like for them to take the trip. So deep discovery, you ask all the pertinent questions, exactly what you need to do so you know what to book. A deep discovery question could be, if you've listened to them and they say, you know, I really need to take this trip right now because, you know, it's about time and we've been talking about it for years and, you know, we're just go ahead and do it. So if you've got your listening ears on, you pay attention to some of the things, and I call it the sentences between the cracks, which means there's the main information they want you to know, but sometimes it's the offhanded comments or the, you know, ad libs that actually tell the truth and give you an insight as to what that person's thinking. So for example, they say, you know what, I need to take this trip. You ask, so I noticed you said that you need to take the trip. So what makes you say that now is the time for the trip? So what you need to do is add small prompting questions to have them give you more information. Now it could be, oh my gosh, this trip is amazing. I've said I've been doing it. I'll do it for the last 10 years. And, you know, something's happening next year. So we need to do it this year. So long story short, you want them to give you more information so that you have more to work with. And then you ask more pertinent questions so you can figure out how to shape the actual trip or help them shape the trip that they want. So this is an example of an additional deep discovery question. And again, Tammy, you will get this for sure. Another question. What's their main priority? If they want to book a trip, are they more concerned about the cost? Or you want to get them emotional? And especially if it's a luxury dream trip, another question could be, so I know you said talked about you had a budget and everything to work with. So, you know, do you prefer to wake up in the ocean or in the mountains? Or would you like to wake up, you know, in the city dwelling, or would you like to live, you know, be by the sea? What would you, again, ask small questions in between that, again, to hopefully stretch out their story so it helps you being able to make them help take their dreams come true. Here's this one, luxury and lifestyle. We just talked about that earlier. So if it comes to the point where you're working on them and you ask them the question, you know what, so if I could sneak in a surprise upgrade, what would you want it to be? And again, depending on what options are there, find out what's important to them. Some may not be a big deal. For some, you know what, I'd like a free massage. If that happens anymore. So again, you pay attention, you write this stuff down so that as you are helping them form their dream trip, you've got all that information down and you don't have to try and guess what makes them happy. They pretty much are going to tell you. Confidence and reassurance. This is a big one because we talked earlier about the fact that they may or may not trust you because they may not know you. So the key is, and sometimes I do this when I'm interviewing clients to work with as far as their speeches. Have you ever had an experience that didn't work for you? And if that's the case, tell me. Now, sometimes you do and don't want to hear that because depending on how horrific the experience was, they may go on and on and on, tell you too much information. But exactly that too much information is exactly the information you need to be sure that you don't go down that route or make the same mistakes, or you know what to look for. So if you ask those type of questions, after a while, hopefully in their brain, they say, you know, this person really cares. They're not just taking data and information from me so they can get this money. They really, really are concerned about how this trip is going to be for me. Future and relationship building. So especially those of us that like to celebrate main decades in our life, it could be that this trip is part of a bigger milestone year for you. So say my 60th birthday is next year, and say it's in a couple of years. So they're not quite ready to book now. You know, you've heard that for quite some time, but really get them kind of excited and ask their details so that as the time gets closer and closer, they're far more likely to be on board than to, oh, okay, well, we're talking 2 years and then you put your trip together. So again, plant the seed so that you can keep the relationship going. And then when they are ready to book, then the person they call is you. And then this one, which actually probably couldn't have been first, but it doesn't really matter, is how do you like to communicate with people? Do you like it where it's short and sweet? Or do you want all details, itinerary, minute by minute? It's very important actually to figure out what their communication style is and how they like their interaction. Because there are some people that like it short and sweet, just do all the details and just tell me where to show up. And there's some that want every T crossed and I dotted, and they want to be involved in every point. You need to know that so that if your style tends to be opposite from that, they don't drive you nuts. Because if you know, okay, detail oriented, I need to give detail, hopefully that will alleviate any stress on your part. Okay. So again, these are an example of some additional questions that you would share, if necessary, to help bring out the story in them. And I have way more questions to do, but the key is I hesitate. I didn't want to give more than that because again, there's a lot of information that you guys are trying to absorb and get into your brain. And I want to make sure that when it comes to storytelling, I hear all the time, well, you can storytell because that's what you do. Yeah, but it's a skill that everybody does. It's just some of us do it more than others. Some of us have had instruction in it. And I'm giving you instruction as in, even if you are the shyest person on the world, here's going to be some information along with, whether it's Tammy or whoever else you're learning from, that you can add to make that whole connection easier for you and makes you much more magnetic to anybody that would converse with you. Okay? Alrighty, so that's basically all I got. Who here has questions or insights from what you've learned here today?
Let's see. If anyone has any questions, you could chat it, you could ask. We're both here. You can ask me anything you want. Jen and I are going to Sardinia in 2 weeks.
I know. Time just flies by.
It's
I'm
going to be
excited.
incredible. And I have Turkey. I have a fam to Turkey next year. It's going to be off the charts. I've now included dinners, breakfast every day, luxury, and I have Crete, Greece. You guys could visit me. See, Jen, this is your trip.
I have some conflicts. That's why I haven't booked. She'll put me on the spot, but that's okay. No. But if you haven't been on the Tammy trip, you need
Any
to go on the Tammy trip.
questions? You guys have been awesome. I know
I know this
ran
is
over
silent.
time. It's 10:18 p.m. here in my time, and I'm still up and awake. I don't know. I was sleeping at 3 a.m., so I'm good. No questions? You guys are going to put everything into action? I hope so.
Okay.
And work on
Well,
things?
I'll be on the cruise, so hopefully I'll get the other 30 questions to ask from Jen.
Yes, you will. 20,
Or
25.
25.
You will. And the good thing about the cruise is designed the specials to be kind of like workshop-ish. So actually I will have you guys practicing, working with it, role play, because that's what I feel sometimes is the challenge. We have all this information, but also you've got to be about the business of doing business. So where do you get the chance to actually just practice and get input? So that's what the cruise is going to be about. Lots of role play, interacting, and getting this stuff out so that you can feel polished and ready to go when you come back.
That'll be good.
Jen, somebody asked how they get involved with our group because, you know, Task was created because I just could not see a advisor struggle anymore, because a lot of travel advisors are in the travel mode. They're not in entrepreneurship mode. I started in my life, I don't know if it's good or bad. I started in entrepreneurial mode. I think I was born out of the womb. Entrepreneur, there you go. That's what she's gonna be. I mean, my first company I started at 17, right? So I have a lot of agents here that are task agents, and I don't mind pulling them out. If I forget you, I know that Tyree's on here. We have Blue Eyes Travel. I love looking at your eyes because they're blue, 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 and dark skin. You look so sexy all the time. We have Christina. Christina came to Task about a year ago, and she's coming again because she's put everything into practice, Jen. So she listened, she's put everything into practice. She's done everything that she can. And it was a big change for her. It was a complete flip of everything that she was doing. But she did say, we were in our other webinar together, that she made more profit out of the 19 years of doing what I have taught them to do. So she has grown her business that was more profitable in the 1 year of taking action of what I taught her to do in all the years that she had before then. And we have Ellie. It's been a minute, Ellie. You need to come to another class. And we have Nicole, and I miss Nicole, and I know she's been through a lot, but I miss you too. And Patricia, and a few others that had to get off the call because we're down to 20. We were up to 30 advisors. But I'd love to see you guys. If you need to know more about Task, I'd like to do a one-on-one because I really need to know more about you. You know, Task is about, it's become a family. And Jen, you know this. I started this, you and I talked about it when I first started it. It's like, I need to do this. I need to do it. I need to. She goes, well, just do it. I go, well, I need to do it. I need to. and I have a surprise for all of you, but I cannot disclose it here. But I am evolving. I'm evolving to something. Oh, I don't know. Jen doesn't even know about it. Sometimes I look at it and go, this is bigger than me. And I'm going to give you a hint, whoever's left on here. And then, of course, we do have it recorded, so we can always send it to you. But I basically have mentors that don't even know that they're my mentors. Okay, Jen is one of my mentors. I may be one of hers in one way or another. But I have mentors that I will watch, and I'll see their ads, their commercials on social media. You know how you watch people. I'm not gonna say Tony Robbins because he's not a mentor of mine, but somebody similar to that, where you watch them all the time and they're on social media and they're selling and pitching and doing whatever. Well, there's this one guy, a couple actually, and I decided to start taking their program, and I'm involved with that because I have to better myself to better you and to learn and continuously evolve. And I'm reading every day, just so you know, guys. There's a lot about me that you don't know. But anyway, I really studied this platform and this person, and I studied the platform and I studied everything that they're doing. And I said, literally, 5 months ago, before I moved here, I said, I want to be just like them. I am going to be just like them in about, give me another 4 or 5 months, and it's going to happen. And it cost me a little bit of money. I'm not going to lie, but it's in my head, and I'm not worried about the money because it's going to come back. but it's something that needs to be done. It's something that has to get done. It has to do with task. It's bigger than me. It's bigger. And I have a team of about 20 people already on this, which I never thought in a million years that I would have a team working on task. And I have a marketing guy. I just got off the phone with him before I got on with you, Jen. And it was like, how many more people? Who is that girl? I don't know that girl. Oh, she's just part of us. She's going to be listening. She's the bouncing board. I said, oh, okay. And then I have a company that found out about it, and he came to me, and he is bigger than you could ever possibly imagine. You guys are in for something so huge, and all of this is for task. All of this is for advisors. Can you imagine being at a platform or being in a one-stop shop and pretty much having a chatbot that was created just for you and behaves like you, and that you're able to have on your website, or have a website built to your needs and your liking, and not all this cookie cutter things that we have for us as travel agents, or blogging just for you. All this, that, and an entire training course of tasks that continues with me live every single week forever. I mean, it's so much. It's bigger than I ever thought that I would do, Jen. And if I knew you to ask you this years ago, you'd be like, well, what are you waiting for? You should have done this already.
Had to be in the room where it happened. And you have been.
This is in the room where all of you are listening and it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But no more excuses. I hate excuses. No more.
Yep. Also, let me
So
share this too,
anyone,
and then I'll bounce off. I remember I had a sales guru coach that basically said this, and it changed my trajectory as well. Because I know sometimes, time, energy, money, investment, some of us may have it, not want to invest it, we're cheap, whatever the world is. And I went to one of her weekend workshops she did in California, and she basically said, I want you to consider being the client that you want to attract. Now, upon that time, I was Miss Cheapo, want stuff cheap, not really wanting to invest. I'd do what I could, but I would never get 100% of what I was going for because I wasn't willing to invest. Well, when she said, be the client that you want to attract, changed everything. And then I started to look for more affluent clients, because I was more busy about what people can afford than the experience, painting the picture, and helping them, achieve their dreams as far as being a speaker. So I wanted to share that with the travel advisors listening too, because I know that, your industry is obviously different from speaking, but the mindset of being open, being abundant, if you have the ability to be in the room or to learn from the Tammys of the world, and again, I keep using her name, but she's not the only one, but she's the best. Do it. Do it, because your learning curve is going to be so much shorter, like it was when I started investing in organizations, coaching, etc., that as opposed to me taking forever to learn, now I know it, I'm applying, and now reaping the benefits and spending that money. So I just wanted to share that too.
and the other thing is to listen to what the industry is saying or needing.
Yep.
And you're doing that because the industry was talking to you of what you needed to do and what direction you needed to take. I'm listening to the industry of what they need right now. What do they need? What can I help with? I didn't just move or sell or book $190 million worth of business because it was a mistake, or I didn't have practice, or I didn't listen. I listened to one person when I first started, Jen, a very similar story to yours. I listened to Valerie Wilson. If any of you do not know Valerie Wilson, I want you to Google her. She started from nothing, and she built her business to over 300 million, and she sold it to, like, I don't know, like one of those banking companies, the investment companies or whatever it was, very recently, like about a year ago. And she was the very first person that I heard speak when I went to a luxury market event. And we're talking luxury market 35 years ago. And I heard her speak, and I'm sitting in the audience, and Jen, you may have heard the story before, but this is how it all changed for me. I'm sitting there listening to her, and she said one thing: if you want to be successful in the travel industry or any industry, it doesn't really matter, do what others are not. See what is needed, what you can fulfill as your need. Just like an inventor, I invented something, which a lot of you don't know. We're not going to get into that. It's Valerie Wilson is her name. Somebody asked me, Valerie Wilson. She is my role model. When you invent something, you invent something because you are fulfilling a need. You're fulfilling a problem. There's a problem and you are the solution. Okay. There's a problem. The problem is you invented this because somebody invented air conditioning because it was damn hot out there and they had to invent something to make things better in your life. Correct. So that's why people invent things. So there's got to be a solution to the problem. And basically what she's saying is find what somebody is not doing or where they're advertising, where they're not, and you get into that spot and fulfill that void. So it didn't hit me right away, but I knew that everyone was, at the time we didn't even barely had computers. And I was coming home. I was in Vegas. I was coming home. And you know how we have our magazines and all that at the airport, right? So I go in and there's a magazine and I go, what is this? I picked it up and I go, what kind of magazine is this? Oh my God, it's $10 for this magazine. Why is this magazine $10? And it was the Robb Report. But every other magazine, like People Magazine, was 99 cents and $1. And I'm picking this up for $10. I go, oh my God, this is me. I'm flipping through it. I go to the back and there's what we used to have, and we don't even have those anymore. What do they call it? Classified ads. There was classified ads in the back of the Robb Report. And all these ads were for like stupid, like we could build a yacht. We have watches for your we have jewelry boxes for your watches. I'm like, this is like stupid stuff. Why would anyone want to spend all their money on this stuff? Like just out of like things that did not make any sense to me of why you're buying these things. There was a lot of weird things in there, and then there was a lot of good things. There was not one travel advisor, not one, Jen, not one. I said, oh, I think this is what she means. I think they need to advertise in here. How much is it for the year? It was $6,000. Do you understand 35 years ago that what $6,000 was today, 35 years ago? And I just started. I think I was in the business maybe for 8 months. I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything. What did I do? Mom, any money? Mom, do you have a credit card that has like $6,000 on it? Yeah. Can I use all of it? Why? Because I know you have a lot of cards, number one. And number two, I need that money. I'll make it up. I promise you, I will get it back to you. I'll make up the money. If I pay her back in a year, I'll make up 6,000 one way or another. I have to pay her back. Dude, I advertised. I was the only travel advisor in the magazine. I still have clients to this day. I swear I'm ready to tear up because one of them is multi-billionaire and he has the glass house in LA on top of the hill. And to this day, we just made another booking for him. I looked up literally about 6 months ago of what he's given us to date is close to $3 million in business. One customer, one that I got from there. And I got so many more. So I'm giving you her advice, just like I got into destination weddings when nobody else was doing them. And I got in every single magazine, and I was the destination wedding guru, front cover of Travel Weekly magazine. I was doing from 500,000. My business jumped to 8 million overnight. Okay. But destination weddings are in a decline. So we're not doing that. Come up with your own. Think about what Jen said tonight. Think about using this and think about a visionary of what needs to be in the world. I knew that luxury was going to be a big thing 3 years ago. Now it's like everyone's doing it. Yeah, okay. Let's move on to the next thing. I already know what the next thing is. I'm already doing it. So you think about where you need to be, become a visionary, work on it, and also think about what Valerie said to me. Do what others are not. Don't be this with advisors. Go wander, do your own, and you'll see how your business will explode. I promise you.
And then also too, for those of you that do come up with things that are different from the norm, etc., you have a wonderful mentor right in front of you that you can bounce information off. Because again, if you think, oh, I'm going to come up with destination weddings, she's already been there, done that. So don't be afraid to talk to her, because sometimes we're embarrassed. We're like, I don't want to talk to her because I might sound stupid. No, I think you sound stupid if you do it and it fails and you didn't tell her or ask her opinion. So make use of being in the room. You have mentors around you that can give you their input. And again, doesn't necessarily mean that your idea is bad or anything like that, but sometimes it's good just to bounce things off. My clients do it to me all the time. Just bounce things off. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I want. What do you think? And I give them usually I won't say calculated opinion. I tell them it's my opinion, but here's my experience. And then they can go off and make whatever decision they made. But they feel so much better, and I feel so much better knowing that at least we have some kind of dialogue, so that when you do make the decision to take action, it's based in truth or research or something, versus something that's totally off the wall that, you know, you didn't take time to ask a question.
Well, I think that we've come to an end, and I totally thank you for everything. I appreciate you so much, Jen. That's what I wanted to say. I totally appreciate everything you do. And we had a great session. I feel like we were their therapist or something today. But anyway, we both went on a tangent. Sorry, guys.
It
But
was
you
the
know
right
what? The
tangent.
world,
No, I knew exactly what I was doing, because again, we can give you information and tell you do this, this is it. But if this ain't right, you're
you
just gonna
know
hit your head
what?
against the wall.
Whoever wants to email me, I'm putting my email in there again, and we could set up a call. Let me tell you, the world is kind of crazy right now. Not kinda. And I'm not going to say the world. The United States is kind of crazy right now.
And the UK.
They're
I just
number
came
one
from there. UK
craziness.
is kind of crazy too.
And I'm in a whole nother part of the world. I talk to sheep. Okay. I talk to goats. I'm in a different part of the world. I couldn't deal with it anymore. But stay focused, guys. Stay focused. Don't look at what's going on. I made a commercial about this past week. You have to stay focused. You have to focus on you, your business, your mental health, everything about you. Watch news less and don't focus on that, and don't get wrapped up in all the social media crap that's going on. Okay, just do whatever you think is right for you and build on that. And that's the only way you're going to get through this, and we'll get through it together. So I look forward to hearing from everyone, and thank you again.
Bye.
Then I'm going to call you.